And hello, all. This is Lala Madness with another episode of The Fierce Review. And in this episode, we'll actually be talking about CEO of Goodwill, Sharon Durbin. Actually resigns Thursday, 7/19/2019, after making a statement about disabled employees. So, basically, Sharon Durbin, she's pretty much been the CEO of Goodwill for about 16 years or so at this point. And she made a very heated comment in regards to taking the employment away from the disabled workers due to the increased wages that's going to be coming to bump up to the $15 an hour minimum wage. And it's going to be steadily increasing. However, her comments kind of infuriated everyone. So I'm going to talk about that, and we're going to get into some facts about that. Okay? So she made the statement saying she will end the disabled employees' positions due to the minimum wage increase that is not started until January. However, we're in July, but she's already made this decision sometime last week, and everyone's pissed. So now let's get into some minimum wage facts and what she was talking about in regards to where I guess she felt she was coming from in that instance, which didn't make any damn sense at all. Excuse me, I'm trying to, okay, I had to adjust some things. Now, so the current minimum wage is actually $8.25, where she's currently from, which it was just done. Okay, so it's in Illinois, and the current minimum wage there is $8.25, but it will increase to $9.25 according to the amendments to the IMWL, which signed into law on February 19, 2019 by Governor J.B. Pritzker, Pritzker. Okay. Now, this will increase the minimum wage in stages, which will be effective January 1st, 2020. And then the minimum wage will increase to $9.25 at that time from the current $8.25. So it's increasing $1 per hour. Now, 6 months after that, on July 1st, 2020, the minimum wage will increase to $10 per hour and will increase up to $15 per hour in steady increments up to 2025. Okay. Now, she told workers employed under a vocational program for people with disabilities that they were losing their jobs, pretty much. And she was trying to do it now. Okay, so she states the rise in wages will increase costs of $2 million. And it was meant to start, it's not meant to start until January, but she wants to end the positions and the pay effective immediately, pretty much. Now, she did state as well, this will be Sharon Durbin, Durbin, for those that want to look her up and see exactly who she was and what she did outside of what I'm reporting. Okay. So she stated, by making changes now, we can start offsetting the expenses that we're incurring, not only through vocational rehab, but other things that we're doing in the organization. Now, she also stated that they weren't always as productive or efficient as other workers, according to her, in regards to the disabled employees. Now, participants can still come in without pay for developmental learning activities, but so far, Mr. Nicholas said that that's consisted of drawing and working on math problems, and Goodwill's president said that they were still working to improve those programs as part of this transition. So Nicholas, I'm assuming, is the president of the Goodwill, and she would be the CEO. However, both of their statements are way out of line as far as outlining what and how that's going. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, this is where we get to the meat and potatoes of everything in regards to what she said, why she said it, and how everything kind of occurred. But let's get into a little background. Now, Land of Lincoln Goodwill, like other Goodwill agencies, is a separate entity operating independently under its own board of directors. So, each Goodwill, pretty much, they're nationwide. However, when it comes to certain areas, they're kind of grouped off and they operate separately or independently, but they still have to follow rules as a whole, okay? The local charity, which is based in Springfield, Illinois, has 15 Central Illinois retail stores and donation centers and they employ over 400 people. Now, the Goodwill is a nonprofit and receives the donations, as you know, because I'm sure most of you have donated to the Goodwill. Okay, they receive donations from citizens dropping off clothes, items, and also donating money to keep it kind of going. Because what they promote is that they're giving people jobs, right? That's why you're donating to them. That's why you're dropping off your clothes. They then turn on in the things that you donated or the money that you donated, and they use them to give people jobs. However, they also receive state funding in the form of grants and contracts of about $400,000 for contract work and some reimbursements for services provided to people with disabilities. So now, the charity doesn't pay taxes because it is a 501c3. So keep that in mind. So we all know all 501c3s, which will be your churches and other charitable organizations, do not pay taxes of any sort. Okay, so you're getting that money that we're not only donating the goods for you to sell to turn into cash dollars for your organization, but you're also getting the $400,000 from grants and things of that nature in order to hire these disabled people and other people as well. Okay. Now, let's talk about Durbin's salary. So, what I want to know is why she's calculating all of these, the $2 million, which will be the reason, if she continues to employ the said disabled people, that it would increase to $2 million, right, in their budget, which apparently she's saying that that's something they can't afford to do. However, you can afford to do it, in my opinion, Ms. Durbin, if you're getting all this grant money, as well as all this contract money, as well as you're getting reimbursements, as well as you're getting everything else to go along with that, and our donations turn into cash dollars once again. So where else do you need to get money from? And obviously, if you're paying them $8.25 an hour, you can damn sure afford to do it and increase over time because you have the money available, in my opinion. You're getting free donations. So what if it's a tax write-off to some? It doesn't matter. That's government money at the end of the day. That's between the donator and what the government gives them as a write-off. It has nothing to do with the actual Goodwill themselves actually, paying for anything that's dropped off and being sold. So I've always wondered, when I dropped off donations, where does the money go? How is it used besides just, we employ people? I mean, do you have shelters and things of that nature? Probably not. Are you guys giving out food or anything of that nature? Probably not. You're just using it to specifically employ people, which you need to do anyway if you're a business to run these multiple stores that you have, in my opinion. Kind of a dumbass statement to make, in the sense that you're already paying people. And some of the employees that are disabled, they did admit to paying below minimum wage. Keep that in mind as well, which is a damn shame, because you ought to be shamed. And you made that statement, which was even worse. Okay. So, now, they've also stated, one of the Illinois representatives has also stated that she ought to be ashamed of herself for making that statement. And it's making them look bad as a whole, including Goodwill themselves and the whole damn state. Like, how could you even open your mouth to say such a statement? Now, if you had a child with disabilities, you probably wouldn't open your mouth to say something that stupid. But we'll get into Ms. Durbin's child and her child's salary as well as hers right now. So, she actually drew a salary of nearly $165,000 in 2018, according to tax records, and also $6,145 in benefits as well. Okay, that was just for 1 year. So pretty much $172,000 roughly went to you. Now that's like almost half of what comes in through grants and everything else. Your grants and contracts is half of your salary. Now let's also talk about how her son earns $96,000 a year as well as a member of the nonprofit's executive leadership team, according to those same 2018 tax documents, which will be what they filed last year. Now, how is it that your salary and your son's salary combined pretty much equal damn near all of the grants? Just to pay for y'all two. So instead of cutting the disabled people's, how the hell dare you not cut your own damn salary because you don't want to be uncomfortable living in a less tax bracket than you already are, but you and your son combined is pretty much almost $300,000. I don't understand for the life of me how you could make that statement. However, she made another statement after that, which is this whack ass apology, and I'm going to tell you what she said. So some challenges can be overwhelming to the point where the numbers, rather than those who are working to elevate, become the focus. Their challenges and their needs are personally near and dear to my heart. As the president and CEO of this organization, I want to apologize to our constituents, our clients, and our faithful donors. She has since stepped down as CEO. Now that you know the facts, now that we know that her and her son make way above what they need to make in order to be in a, because the Goodwill, like I said, is not just ran in Illinois where she's from, but it's ran nationwide. So are all the CEOs making the same thing that she makes? I mean, she's been there for 13 years. So for 13 years, I'm sure your pay increased over time. But if you were making damn near $200,000 every year for the last 13 years, that's where the hell the money going. That's why they don't have enough to pay for the little extra dollar per hour that it would take to keep these people going. Because as a business, you have to prepare for these type of things, right? But if your business is solely ran and dependent on donations that you already get for free, it's not like you're putting your own capital into this. You as a CEO, usually most CEOs that are not in 501c3 status have to provide their own capital, have to make sure that they are able to pay their employees or their business will fail. But you get more than enough grants, contracts, and everything else in order to run it and make sure that it's still going. None of this is coming out of your pocket. None of this is based on if your business fails or elevates to another level. All this is based on, once again, what we as the consumers as well, you know, you go in and you selling their prices range for about $5 or so for each article of clothing, and that's clothing. Now you can also go there and get furniture and little odds and ends, microwaves, little computers, things of that nature, you know, and books. The books are good. I usually will go to the Goodwill sometime. Me and my daughter used to have play dates where we'll go to the Goodwill, take about $20, and they have like hardbacks for $2, soft covers for like $1. You can get a world array of books. That's all I used to go for. However, if you're charging $5 for each article of clothing that you actually got for free, then you should have enough. And I see people in the Goodwill all day. I know people that talk about they going, people be dressed fresh to death coming up out the Goodwill for that same $5. But that's not something that your business had to put in to go and get that and then try to flip it to make a profit. You're getting it free already. So why the hell do you need to get, first of all, why you need any other grants? The grants that you get should be allotted specifically for the disabled people, not allotted for your damn salary. And that damn sure is something ignorant to say. And I'm surprised that the American Disabilities Association is not on her ass, as well as the Goodwill's ass, as well as the whole state that allowed her to say that dumb shit's ass, which I'm sure they'll be coming because they've already started the boycott of cancel Goodwill. Now, back in the day, you could picket businesses with, you know, your little picket signs and whatnot, and you go out there and you're picketing. You know, they would do it at schools when teachers felt like they weren't getting enough salary and vice versa. Now, you could do that shit online. Hashtag cancel Goodwill. That's what they've been doing all week long, which caused you to make this apology because the board of directors and probably the Goodwill themselves came down and said, what the hell you doing? Why would you make that dumbass statement? They even got on her and while making the statement to tell her that she ought to be ashamed of herself. Not so much as the Goodwill themselves, but representatives of the state because they were there when she made the dumbass statement that she made. So how dare you take free goods that were donated to you thinking that you're doing something fundamental with it, like employing disabled people as well as others, not leaving out the others as well. But I think it's dumb as hell for you to have not even, and the fact is that you probably went home and wrote this speech. prior to going out to making it. So if it didn't click in your mind that it was wrong as hell when you was writing it, then you meant to say it. You meant to say it when you was writing it. You didn't really give a damn to the fact that, you know, who you were affecting at the time. These people were trying to become independent. They were coming to work every day. It's changed a lot of their lives. I did see some clips of things that some of the disabled people were saying as far as how it's changed their lives from them being able to become independent and work on their own. Now they'll have to go to, one person said they have to go to getting food stamps because now they won't make enough or they won't have a job at all. And they have become solely dependent on their employment. So if you cut down your fucking salary, then maybe they'll have enough. Why don't you run a tab or a tally of what the Goodwill in your area with how many 15 stores? See what they make. Okay? Now, try to just try to imagine, and I can't really come to grips with the fact that if I had a disabled child and working in this state and she made that statement, what I would say or what I would do at that point, because there's Goodwills everywhere. So your one statement could affect not only the nationwide aspect of Goodwill, but also the public opinion of Goodwill. And also now you're going to have people digging into where the finances are going. Because just like how I found out, and it's public knowledge, because you're a 501c3 and you have to publicly post who got paid, what money went where, how was it used. It definitely wasn't used appropriately if your salary and your raggedy ass son's salary equate to almost all of the funds that come in through grants. $100,000, that's it. And you talking about a $2 million increase just on making it an extra dollar an hour over that little time that hadn't even come yet. The time hasn't even come yet. So Miss Durbin, Sharon Durbin, you should have stepped down. That was the smart thing to do. That's probably was the recommended thing to do, because the Goodwill ain't trying to have you mess they shit up like you already have with that dumb ass statement you made. And nobody's falling for that whack ass apology. And hopefully they don't put someone else in place as a CEO that's like her. Hopefully you screen your applicants very well. Find out, you know, how they really feel about certain subjects before you just come into play of you know, making a statement as such in front of people where then it's televised, then, you know, it gets out, and then you have people reporting on it like myself, because I'm sure I'm not the first report on it. It's just a shame. And you as a 501c3 have plenty of money to increase that damn dollar an hour as often as it needs to increase according to what your state said it's going to increase as. Or you need to shut them shits down in your state, move to another one where that shit is cheaper. That's what businesses do. That's too bad. Get with the program, but watch the statements that you make, because it could affect not only the disabled people, but other people that are working there as well. And how dare you say that the work that they perform and provide is not as adequate as someone else. That was like a gut punch. You ought to be damn ashamed of yourself, and you and your son don't need that salary, because that'll put back $300,000 right there that they could use for funding. Okay. And that's my opinion. That's the story. And that is Sharon Durbin's ex-CEO of the Goodwill. And I guess if you have questions, comments, or anything of that nature, email me at lmfiercereview@gmail.com. Also follow me on all social media platforms at Lala Madness. And also check out my videos on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share. And also you can follow me on Instagram at Lala Madness _official. And ta-ta.